Hi everybody, and welcome to our program today. Thank you very much for joining us as we are in the middle of this conflict that really started on Thursday, but it continues today. We will be checking some of the latest news in just a moment. I just know that's going to make a noise at me. Hopefully we don't have the same problems we had last week with our signal, but it is great to have you all with us as we try and wade through what's actually going on. Now, of course, there has been a lot of people trying to say who fired the first shot. I understand that is important to some people. There's also a lot of discussions about the history of this particular area and the dispute over the border, particularly a number of temples along the border. And I'm not really here to try and provide definitive proof about who shot the first salvo or which particular country does have the rights to any particular area. That's a very complicated, long involved mini-series that would take a lot to discuss. And I really don't think even after that you would have a definitive answer. But what I would like to sort of provide today is a bit of a thesis on what I think is behind this. And as I said in the thumbnail, it's got nothing to do with temples. There's some much more immediate economic and political imperatives that are behind this. I don't have a speech prepared. I don't really have any notes to speak of. I'll just be riffing as I sort of wade through this because it's much, much more complicated than people think. Now, I also note that there's people who sort of think this is like some James Bond film and that the CIA and PSYOPs are sort of behind this and it's the Russians and the Chinese, and it's not. So let's just dispel that sort of nonsense. It's much more simple than that, but there is a lot of domestic politics and economics behind this. Now, welcome to everybody who's here to sort of help us try and figure this out. There are people who are actually in those areas and would be great to hear from you. A special thanks to, I'm sure he'll be in the comments section. Anyway, I'll get to that when I remember. But hello to John, the Scarface, Damien, Daryl McGee. Now, Daryl, I think you sent me a thank you on Buy Me a Coffee, so thank you very, very much. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else, and I don't have those notes in front of me, but we have turned off the super chats here on YouTube, and if anybody would like to support the channel, of course, I really appreciate that, but it's all done now on Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link in the description below. Enough of that. So let's get to this, and I suppose I'll try and be as succinct as I can. I'll try and be as simple as I can in what really is quite wide-ranging. But let's just go to the latest actual news, and then we can sort of go on to my thesis. I never had the opportunity to do a thesis. I never went to university because I'm stupid. So that never happened. Anyway, let's just go to this temple area. Is this going to work or not? We'll just soon find out. There we go. So the red is the border, and the yellow circle there is one of these disputed temples, or the one that's really behind this, Preah temple. And you can see it's right out on a precipice of land, quite notable by being sort of very pointed. This is a sort of map showing the terrain, but you can see that the border is actually, the drawn border, and this is on Google Maps, I might add, does show that temple is on Cambodian territory. And now just sort of a slightly wider version there, you can see the terrain. It's right up on the precipice of a hill overlooking a cliff, and then it overlooks the plateau of northern Cambodia. But the borderline is actually behind it. And just once again a little bit wider, we can see the terrain. There's basically mountains on one side of the border, on the Thai side of the border, and then on the Cambodian side, and become more obvious with another image. There you go. So they're showing that the terrain basically follows this mountain range in this southern part of Isan in Thailand, and then Below that, on the Cambodian side, is this plateau. And pretty much right along the border, that's the case. It follows this mountain range all the way along and then into the Lao border as well. Let's go to some news today, and this is from the Khalsod English Facebook page, and it was posted at around about 7 a.m. this morning. The Thai Navy has launched the Trat Pikan Prairie 1 operation after Cambodia opened fire, expanding the conflict area to the Trat province. That's beyond the 4 Thai provinces already engulfed. And the Chatpuri and Trat border defence forces have retaliated. At 5:10 this morning, reporters received an update on the clash between Thai and Cambodian soldiers along the border, now entering its 3rd day. And Cambodian soldiers opened a new front, attacking Thai soldiers this morning in the Ban Chamrak area of Trat province. And soldiers, coffee's just arrived, thank you very much. Soldiers from the Chanthaburi and Trat border defence forces retaliated. So that obviously happened just this morning, which doesn't look quite as broad, as wide or as violent as some of the earlier clashes, for example, on around about 8 o'clock on Thursday morning. But it looks like there are skirmishes continuing along different parts of the border. Hello Daisy, nice of you to come and join us. So that refers to this area along the border. The Trat province is there on the far eastern side of the border from Bangkok. It's about an hour and a half drive from Pattaya to get down there. Some very beautiful islands off Trat, there on the border of Cambodia. Thai PBS World saying that Thailand backs a Malaysian mediation but demands sincerity from Cambodia. And Thailand has agreed in principle to allow the Malaysian leader as the ASEAN chair. So ASEAN is the 10 Southeast Asian countries. It's basically a trading bloc, but it's also served as a way to mitigate any huge problems as they may arise pretty much over the past 50 years. The chair is circulated each year around different ASEAN countries. This year it is Malaysia's responsibility. And they've said that they will in principle mediate in the escalating Thai-Cambodian border dispute, but Cambodia must demonstrate its sincerity to resolve the conflict, according to the acting Prime Minister of Thailand, Phumtham Wechayachai. And the Malaysian PM, Anwar Ibrahim, spoke to both Phumtham and the Cambodian PM, Hun Manet, by phone, expressing his willingness to mediate and stressing that the conflict should not continue into further confrontation. Done that one. To the Bangkok Post, and over 100,000 people have been evacuated from 4 provinces, and those 4 provinces directly on the northern side of the Cambodian border. To memory, Sisaket, Ubon Ratchathani, Buriram. There's one other that will come. I know you're screaming at the screen. We'll find out. Here we go. More than 100,000 civilians have been evacuated from the northeastern provinces of Ubon Ratchathani, Sisaket, that's the one I forgot, Surin and Buriram, following a sharp escalation in border clashes with Cambodia. According to the Permanent Secretary, evacuees are now safely sheltered at 295 designated sites, and authorities have barred all evacuees from returning to their homes until further notice, citing ongoing security threats. And then this one, border fighting sparks a global concern, and the United States, China and Japan have expressed grave concern and urged de-escalation following the recent clashes. And France has also joined the call for an immediate cessation of hostilities and a peaceful resolution. So that's sort of the latest situation. There's been no more clashes along those 4 Thai provinces where it all started on Thursday into Friday, but there has been some skirmishes reported on the border in the Trat province, which is obviously quite a long way. Now, let's sort of move into the politics of this. Let's sort of go into saying hello to a few people here, by the way. Great to have you all with us. Good morning, Tim and all. Just on the phone with Lamun in Sisaket. So this is Daryl, who's talking to a partner there in Sisaket. Hi, greetings from South Korea, says Jeff Whitty Art. Hello from Ottawa, Canada, from Rock Trip on this. Luke Manton from a cold and wet Sydney. Let me say, where I am here in PHANG, it is, well, there's a few clouds in the sky, but I can see probably more blue sky than clouds. There is around about a 15-knot sea breeze on my back. It is just a glorious day. And I really should say also, for anybody who's thinking of coming to Thailand, as far as going to Bangkok and just about anywhere except those 4 provinces, or maybe 5 provinces, it's still very, very safe. If you walk around Bangkok, you wouldn't even know this clash is on. If you're more than 100 kilometres from this border zone. Thank you, Daisy. Daisy! People rummaging around next door. You really wouldn't know anything was happening, so it's perfectly safe still to travel to Thailand. I wouldn't be going near those border areas. And if you are in Cambodia, good morning to you. Obviously, you wouldn't be going to those border areas either. Basically, the entire border with Thailand is closed. There might be very few exemptions, people needing to get across for emergencies or health emergencies, but otherwise the border is closed, so border runs, visa runs, they would be off at the moment, but you can still fly from Bangkok to Phnom Penh or from Phuket to Siem Reap. Chris asks, can you explain why this is happening? Well, that's sort of what I will do. I'm just going to say this isn't a simple issue, a lot of history and different actors. This is from Bob Tom's 100. I hope mediation and discussion prevails. Full-on times for the border dispute, according to Shano Traveller. Damien Jesser says, really what effect does having a little more land around that area? Yeah, again, I really don't think... This border dispute has been going on since 1907. And these skirmishes will keep on happening until that particular land border... I mean, these are basically Hindu temples. So it's Buddhists fighting over Hindu temples, which is all a bit strange. But I don't believe that the temples... or the border issue is really behind this particular uprising. And what else we got? Buy her a coffee or buy you a coffee. What's the difference? Okay. It's an amazing view from the top of the cliff on the Thai side, says Daryl McGee. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it is quite magnificent at that Hindu temple, well situated on the precipice there, a very pointy piece of land as it looks out across the Cambodian plain, an area I think following this probably turn this into somewhat of a tourist attraction, but not today. Jeff Whitty Art volunteering that Chicago pizza is the best pizza, tavern style and deep dish. How do we get on talking about pizzas? Don't start telling me where your best pizza comes from. Kathy AC, hi Kathy, morning Tim from a freezing Perth. Does it ever get that cold in Perth? Don't really think so. In Western Australia, hopefully this is resolved ASAP without any further loss of lives. Yeah, of course, whilst the various prime ministers and the army chiefs are pointing their fingers and shaking their fingers at each other, they're not going anywhere near the conflict zones. It's the poor civilians, the villagers, the farmers on each side of this border who up to this week have sort of been walking across either formal border areas or just walking across the road in other parts of the border area to see their friends and to swap a durian for a pineapple. So they're the people we really should be feeling sorry for. It's a distraction, don't fall of it, says Jinpo. Okay, so I might agree with you there, but what is the distraction? I'll be getting into that in a moment. Daryl saying hello to Daisy. Do you have a bomb shelter? Asks M. Morant. No, I don't. And so many people have contacted me saying, "Oh, Timmy, you're thinking of leaving?" No, I haven't given it a second's notice until people ask me the question. Apart from the fact that where I am here on the coast of PHANG with the Andaman Sea behind me, we're a long way from any of this conflict area. It would have to start affecting areas like Bangkok before I'd even start to consider doing something about it. But at the moment, there's just no problems beyond these 4 or 5 provinces on the border of Cambodia. And I'm not belittling the extent and the danger to the people living in those areas on both sides. But here, and pretty much everywhere else in Thailand, it's not an issue. Can I just enjoy my coffee for a moment? That's just going zing right to the places it's meant to. Oh, can I just inject that straight into my veins? That's magnificent. Good morning from a rainy and cloudy Chiang Mai. This is from Bob Tom's 100. Cambodian state media is telling their people it's about a border dispute, but it's more about political backstabbing that occurred even before the escalation. Lunar Souls, you are right on the money, and let's have a talk about that. So what really started this, what really set off this current conflict was this phone call, this 17-minute phone call between the Thai Prime Minister at the time, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, and the former Prime Minister and now the Senate leader, but still pretty much the person running Cambodia, Hun Sen. Now, the Hun family have got deep connections in what's basically a communist country, but it parades itself as a constitutional democracy. The Hun family and a lot of the elite families in Cambodia have got deep connections with both the casinos, the mostly Chinese-funded casinos in Cambodia, and also the scam centres. There are hundreds of scam centres, and it's growing increasingly by the week. There are hundreds just in the town of Poi Phet, where there are people, some held against their will, operating virtually as slaves, being forced into scamming people, and there are other people who are there voluntarily taking advantage of the commissions they get for scamming people. Now, this is $1 billion, not baht, but a $1 billion industry. And pretty much the elite families of Cambodia have got their hands deep in the pockets of these scam centres. And over the past 6 months, the Thai government have been breaking into some of these scam centres around their border areas where they've proliferated and started to close them down. They've also been acting on bank accounts held in Thailand by some of these elite families in Cambodia and shutting down the accounts. They've had quite an effect. Now, in some of the areas around Myanmar, but also along the Cambodian border, they've also come along with the scissors and cut the internet connections and also the power connections, because both the internet and power were coming from Thailand. Now, Thailand, of course, is not the good guys necessarily in this. A lot of these people are arriving in Thailand, in Bangkok or even Phuket, and being taken to these areas. They've been responding to job offers in most cases, but they are arriving in Thailand and then being taken across the border in many cases. So there's plenty of Thai people involved in these scam centres as well. When it comes to the casinos, most of the people that go to those casinos are Thais. So that particular flow of money is not happening at the moment. 30 to 35% of all tourism in Cambodia is from Thailand, a lot of it related to the casinos. That tap has also been turned off at the moment. Now, these are some of the background reasons that all this has happened. Now, when the Per-Thai government started discussing a casino bill, they were calling it an entertainment complex bill, but it was basically starting casinos in Thailand. Casinos don't exist legally in Thailand at the moment. That also upset the Cambodians, who thought, oh, gee, this is going to be a bit competitive. The Thai government's so better resourced that they might be able to put up much bigger casinos, and of course a lot of the Thailand has got so much more tourists coming into Thailand, it could really pull away a lot of the casino business. And of course all the Thais that go to the Cambodian casinos, they'd be more inclined to be going to the Thai casinos. And this was also seen as another big problem for the Hun family, who a lot of their money has gone into establishing these casinos. So if you're asking, does it come down to politics and money? The answer is yes. But when these border conflicts sort of arose in a small way, it was a skirmish back in May. There was a Cambodian soldier who was shot and killed. And that, of course, is dreadful. But it precipitated this phone call between the Thai Prime Minister and Hun Sen, where the Thai Prime Minister was seen to be, perhaps brown-nosing, to use an Australian term, the former Prime Minister, but in a way, because they've been long-term friends, they'd been known each other for 20 years, the Shinawat family and the Hun family, very well connected for all sorts of economic and political reasons. Again, I'm not sort of painting Thailand as the good guys here, but they are complicit in many ways, especially the Shinawat family. But that phone call, when it was released to the media by Hun Sen himself, started really the snowball that continues to roll down the hill today. And it looks to the world, when you've got guns being fired from both sides, and you've got rocket grenades and things firing between them, and you've got the Thai Air Force sending its F-16s into Cambodian territory. It looks like it is a border dispute, but it's hiding really a much longer political and economic dispute between these two countries. Not necessarily between the two countries, but really between these two families and the elites that have been leeching off these families for decades. So to the Hun family and to Hun Sen, this is an opportunity to safeguard his economic interests in Cambodia, both the scam centres and the casinos, and once and for all get rid of the Shinawat family. And what we're seeing as far as the Thai side's concerned is that there is now a concerted effort to bury the Shinawat family once and for all. And who's behind that? Well, the other part of this, I suppose, triangle of mystery, of intrigue, the Thai army. Now, the Thai army doesn't have any great love for the Shinawat family, and they're opportunists, like anybody who has power, and the opportunity to have a reason to put down the Shinawat family is in the best interests of the Thai army and elements of the Thai government, the conservative elements of the Thai government, who would like nothing more than the Thai Prime Minister, who has been suspended from duty. They would like to see her gone, and they'd like to see her father gone. And again, they've been, after he was released, pardoned by His Majesty the King, they're now reopening an investigation into exactly how sick he was during his stay in the police hospital. Now, all this just sounds sort of so big and complicated and webs of intrigue. And I have to congratulate Channel News Asia. I watched one of their documentaries last night, who somehow synthesized this whole story, pretty much as I've done, poorly, but they've done it much, much better. It took about, I think, an hour. But within that hour, they've synthesized all the Thai politics, the Hun family, the elites in Cambodia, the machinations of the Thai army, and they put it all in one documentary, and bingo, there it is. Now, after the show's finished today, I'll put a link in the description of this video of that CNA, Channel News Asia, produced in Singapore, their documentary, because it really was very clever the way it encapsulated all the various elements of this story. So let's just see if I've covered everything here. Yeah, so I made a note here, Thai army flexing against the Shinawatra government. And it is the Shinawatra government. It was manufactured in the background by Thaksin Shinawatra, both when he was overseas and then upon his return. And the fact that his daughter, Paetongtarn Tan, is the current Prime Minister, despite the fact that she was never elected to office, I think is notable. And yeah, okay, I've also noted here, I'll get onto your comments and I'm sure you've got plenty to say about it. And this is my thesis, by the way. It may or may not be correct, but just reading the tea leaves, this is sort of the way that I see it. So I think a problem, given that these are two principally Buddhist countries that are also sunken deep into the whole concept of losing face, that any solution has to provide a win-win. That's the way that face works. And the Thais don't want to be seen to be winning over the Cambodians without giving them some way of getting out of it through saving face. I mean, Westerners looking at this think, oh, well, you know, Thailand will win this because they've got bigger army and they've got bigger navy and they've got a lot more infantry and they've got bigger tanks and they've got bigger this. And the Thai army, the Thai military is much more sophisticated, much better funded than Cambodia. So there's just no way that the Cambodians would be able to withstand an attack as such from the Thai army. Of course, the Cambodians know this. So a lot of what you're seeing is flexing from both sides, and neither want to, the only way this can be sorted out or negotiated is by having the least loss of face from either side. Okay, there we go. So that's pretty much it. Can I just have another sip of my coffee? Coffee. Life's fuel. Oh. That's doing it for me. So let's just scroll down and we'll see what you've all got to say about this. And I'm sure a lot of people may disagree with me. Morning, Tim. Hope you're good. Love the channel. Still #1 for news. Thank you, Stuart Johnson, wherever you're from. It's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. What's Fahrenheit? In Ohio. 90 degrees Fahrenheit would be around about 31 or 32 degrees centigrade. The leaked phone convo skirmish, says Bijan Bain. Yeah, look, that was, I suppose, the single moment that really launched everything that we're looking at the moment, both in regards to the problems with the Thai government, with the Prime Minister suspended. May I just address that? What's going to happen with the suspension of the Prime Minister? Well, her case will go to the Constitutional Court sometime in August or early September. What's going to happen? Well, there's two things that can happen. One, she will be stood down, whereby another candidate will face the Parliament and the Senate to be nominated and become the next Thai Prime Minister. Now, there is a candidate from the Per-Thai party. They'd be putting that person up. I think that person would likely become the next Prime Minister. The other possibility would be that Paetongtarn Tan survives. The Constitutional Court says, oh no, it's okay. You can stay as the Prime Minister. And then things would sort of continue, but she would be continuing to be Prime Minister of a government that is weakened by all this with a smaller majority, and they would sort of be unlikely to survive to the 2027 election, which will be the next year that Thailand has an election if this government runs its full course. Now, there's a few other people in the wings that could be Prime Minister. Before the last election, all the parties had to put 1 to 3 names, or had to offer those names as prime ministerial candidates that would be worked out or decided on by a joint sitting of the lower and upper house of the Thai government. Now, in the early days, that upper house was loaded with flunkies from the NCPO, from the 2014, the 9 years of military government, and that changed last year when a new Senate was partly elected, and so the Senate now is, was fully elected, a brand new Senate. It's now got a different loading. A lot of Pumjai Thai people in that new Senate, and there are investigations into how that occurred, vote fixing, tampering, etc., etc. That investigation doesn't seem to be going anywhere. So there are 2 other possibilities who could be Prime Minister. One is Aniton Charnvirakul, because he would have a lot of backing from that Senate, which is got a lot of pale blue or Pumjai Thai supporters in it. And the other person would be the former Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who's still listed as a possible prime ministerial candidate, even though he's now was nominated by His Majesty the King to be a part of his Privy Council, which is the council of people that provide advice and support to His Majesty the King. Now, he'd have to stand down from that illustrious post, and now in his 70s, I'm not really sure if he wants to get back into the cut and thrust of running the government. That's probably an unlikely scenario. The most possible scenario would be that the Constitutional Court will kick Paetongtarn Shinawatra out of the job, and Nitsari, what's his name? Chalom Chai Nitsari, I think that's his name, who's an older Thai politician. He's actually a seasoned politician, well credentialed. He could become the next Prime Minister. That's sort of all in the future, so let's not get too far down the road. But there you go, that's sort of my thesis. I hope somebody taped that and types it out and makes an article out of it, because that is the way that I sort of see this whole skirmish playing out at the moment. When elephants go to war, it's only the ants that suffer. Well, that's actually quite interesting, isn't it? That's from Daisy Roots. Thank you very much. When elephants go to war, it's the ants that suffer. Hello, Tim. Be safe, says Jake Dizzle. Look, I am 100% safe here. 1,000,000%. I'm much more concerned about a storm coming out of the Andaman Sea than really getting engulfed with any problems related to the Thai-Cambodian border. Now, I said last night to number one, if this is, we've got guests arriving today and tomorrow, and they're both staying for 3 or 4 days each, and I of course want to make sure they have a fantastic time while they're here. But after they leave, that would be Wednesday or Thursday, if this conflict is still going, I'll probably head up to the Thai-Cambodian border and see what I can do to provide some coverage from the area. I'm well due for a road trip, and that's probably what's going to happen. But let's just sort of see the way this shakes out. I mean, I really, really, really hope that this conflict sort of peters out. It's not just going to end. There's not going to be some red flag that comes down saying, okay, that's over. This will sort of just peter out. That's the way that it will sort of finish. Now, at some stage, people in the Thai and Cambodian governments are already going to have to sit down with a map, and they're going to have to just make some decision about these particular temples and these particular disputed border zones. I can't see that happening anytime soon, but there's no use them running off to international courts to decide these things. This is between Thailand and Cambodia. The ICJ has ruled twice in the past that those temples are in Cambodian territory, but the Thais dispute it, no matter the decisions that are made by the ICJ. And so really the only way that we're going to see some long-lasting solution, whether you like it or not, is by Thai and Cambodian officials sitting down and working out some compromise. It may be, well, I don't even know a way that you compromise that. If you're going to draw a line on a map, that really draws a line on a map, and the conflict will continue. They're going to either have to have a shared area or a demilitarized zone, or they're going to have to decide on calling those particular, they're going to have to stop the border and just call that some sort of big grey zone that is allowed to be accessed by both citizens. I don't know how they're going to work that out. Go and ask the South Koreans, they'll tell you. Okay. J, that's his name, just the letter J. Good morning. War means countries print more money. That means Bitcoin will continue to go up. Have you bought any since the last time we talked? No, Jay, I haven't. The only thing that I think less about than having to leave here because of the Thai-Cambodian border dispute is anything to do with Bitcoin. Okay, I'm heading to Thailand, says Brett Border. Hi, Brett. In 11 days, and not a bit concerned, Bangkok and South will be far from the conflict area. Yeah, look, if anything transpires in the ensuing days, I'll be the first to jump online and tell you if I think there is any reason that you should be reconsidering your flights. But at the moment, there's nothing that Cambodians can do to affect places like Bangkok or down here in the south. The artillery and the weaponry, I mean, don't have the potential to reach much into the Thai side, nor do I believe that they really want to. I don't think either sides are willing participants in this sort of conflict. But if, somebody fires it, then they're going to fire back, and then they're going to fire back. That sort of tit for tat may continue, but this won't escalate. There is no willingness on either side for this to escalate. David S. Jason A. Can't wait to get out of here. Was 0 the other night. Okay, I don't know where you are. The Swiss baht hasn't moved a bit. The Swiss baht. Again, I'm missing the context of the conversation. Good morning to everybody, by the way, there. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Chill Paradox. Hi, Tim. My son lives in Buriram. Okay. No plans to evacuate people. He saw tanks rolling out of Buriram yesterday to go to the border. Otherwise, it seems calm in that area this morning. Yeah, Buriram sort of at the right at the end. There's about 200 kilometres of disputed, not disputed, this theatre of war is along about a 200 kilometre border. Tiny parts of that border are disputed. The entire border for Cambodia is about 800 kilometres, but from Buriram all the way to the Lao border, it's about 200 kilometres, and there's 4 Thai provinces that are adjacent to that border. So they're the only areas of concern, but I do hope your son's okay. The Buddy Show in Cambodia. Glad I left Thailand for Cambodia months ago. Okay, thank you very much. And I'm sure somewhere today I will confront trolls. I've had no end of trolls. Once you start talking about this issue, we've had to spend hours going through the comments section, deleting stuff, moderating. I haven't done as much moderation ever on the channel. So, and also because we're talking about war, it's not as if I'm getting much return for my efforts, but it is an important story and I won't stop from bringing it to you. Okay. Lunar Souls. Thai people felt betrayed by Petong Tan. Yes, I think a lot of them did. Who in turn felt betrayed by Hun Sen. Why would Hun Sen betray the Shinawat family like that? Something is brewing behind the scenes. Well, as I said, it's all about casinos. It's about scam centres. It's about money. And the Hun family are delighted to be able to, at long last, sink the Shinawat family. And I think we are seeing, for good or for bad, the end of the Shinawat dynasty as a power broker here in Thailand. There's been 3 Shinawats as Prime Minister of Thailand. 2 of them have been brought down by the army. Maybe the 3rd one will be as well, without a coup. Weigard Mechtlen. God, I wish I could pre-read these. Hi, Weigard. I'm sorry. Both parties are scared to lose face. Very, very, very true. I don't believe one of them will step down and give up their claims of territory. The only way out might be a de-weaponized zone. There we go. Shared between the 2 nations. I think that's right. We sort of need to say, okay, you think the border's there, you think the border's there. We're going to call all this land in between Thai-Cambodia, and both countries will have access to using that, and that's just the way it's going to be. They're going to have to do something, but that won't happen in the next few weeks. That will happen over years. But you would like to think that the adults in the room will eventually sit down and say, look, forget the ISJ, forget a third party telling us how we should be working on our borders. We'll work it out between the 2 of us. I think that's the only way that it's ever going to be sorted out. Thanks, Weigard. Frank Weston, I have a friend who was planning on visiting Thailand for the first time in October and has got cold feet. Can we anticipate a fall in tourism as a consequence? There will be some people who see this and go, oh my God, Thailand's at war. It's guns and weapons and bombs falling all over the place. No, it's not. But look, I think a lot of people will probably think like that. But no. At the moment, there is no reason at all for you to cancel your holiday to Thailand. But look, I think some people will. But all the things that you like about Thailand are still here. Very few tourists visit those particular border areas. For no particular reason. I mean, it's within a 5 to 7 hour drive from Bangkok, along mostly good roads until you get to that border area. But it's not as if it's the most touristy area of Thailand, so 99% of tourists would just never be heading in that particular direction. But thank you, Frank, for that. Ty Draper says, always follow the money. In this case, I agree. I think this is all about politics. It's all about power. It's all about different people taking an opportunity of this weakness in the Thai government to flex their muscles. Thailand digs a canal to connect both oceans as a shipping route. It could lead to war involving both Singapore and Malaysia. Thailand digs a canal to connect both oceans. Oh, I see. And we're talking about the Kra Canal, which was then sort of modified into the, what were they calling it? The land bridge. That's between the Andaman Sea and the Gulf of Thailand. It could lead to war involving both Singapore and Malaysia. That's from Slow Life SS. Okay, Thailand's not digging a canal. It hasn't got the money for a land bridge. So that conversation is really just not even slightly relevant at the moment. Let's wait until it is. Mick Fitz, they don't want Thailand to have legal casinos. It will ruin Hun Sen's billions. Well, that's the way that I see it. I see this all being about a threat to not only the Hun family, but other Cambodian elite families having Thailand dipping into their pockets, both with the casinos, but even more so with these scam centres, which are funded and run and given the opportunity to keep running by very big-moneyed Cambodian families. I mean, if you think corruption is a problem in Thailand, Cambodia takes it to a whole different level. Thailand has a weakness in its government regarding corruption, but there are almost no chains or anything stopping. Cambodia is basically a communist country. There are just no gears of democracy or a public service that can really crack down on this. That's just the way I see it. That's just my opinion. Okay, they don't want to. Damien Jesser, rough, RUF. Maybe both England and Australia use it common here in Australia. I'm sorry I missed that particular conversation. Another one from Frank Weston, a question. The tourist figures this year so far have been discouraging, so will this military confrontation with Cambodia exacerbate the situation? Frank, you're asking the same question 17 times. Okay, talking about the tourist figures, I've had a video ready to go the last 2 days about these tourist figures, and I haven't had an opportunity to do it because obviously there's been more important things to talk about. When it comes to Chinese tourism, it's down 46 to 50% over the past 6 months. Now, in just about every other case, excepting Malaysian tourism and South Korean tourism, the tourism numbers are up for the past 6 months. But because before January this year, Chinese arrivals in Thailand were the biggest arrivals by far, because that's dropped by 46 to 50% for all the reasons we've discussed about in the past, it's making the current tourism numbers look bad compared to the same time last year, such that they're down some, I think it's 6 or 7% across the board. Because what we've lost from the Chinese, Malaysian and South Korean tourists, we've more than made up. Well, we haven't more than made up, but we've made up with Australians, that's up, Europeans, up, UK, up, United States, up. As I said, I've got the figures here. If you want to know, here I've got the numbers, because I've already prepared the story. This is just going to take me a little moment, if I can find the numbers. Let's just see here. Tourism crisis, with the sector traditionally contributing approximately 12% of the country's GDP. Where have we got these numbers? I had the story already. Here we go. Bright spots emerged from longer haul markets. Oceania, that's Australia and New Zealand. This is the middle paragraph. They've grown nearly 12%. Europe up 16.6%. The Americas up 10.4%. However, these gains failed to offset the losses from crucial Asian markets, and they were China. This is the second paragraph there. China, the country's top tourism market, saw arrivals plummet 42% in June alone, with a 34% decrease for the entire 6-month period, showing no signs of recovery. So that gives you a bit of an outline there of what's going on. So tourism numbers are slightly down. Somebody posted a photo the other day of Phuket Airport saying there was a 2-hour wait for immigration. The last 2 times that I've been to the airport over the past 3 or 4 weeks, Phuket Airport was extremely busy. So there's still plenty of people coming, but the situation is perhaps not as bright as some people in the tourism industry would like, but there's still going to be some 32 to 33 million tourists coming to Thailand this year if things keep on going as they are right now. So we're at probably 2017 numbers. The peak was in 2019 when it reached 39,600,000 foreign visitors arriving in Thailand. So we're nowhere near that, and we're probably this year going to be below last year's total, which the TAT will come up with a million reasons for that, but the real reasons are pretty much the bottom dropping out of the Chinese market. Chinese, at the same time, are travelling more than they've ever travelled in their history. There's more Chinese outbound travel at the moment than ever. But they're going to Japan, they're going to South Korea, they're going to Vietnam and other places. And there are reasons they're not going to Thailand, and we've spoken about that many times in the past. So are you getting a bit of buffeting on the microphone there? Sorry if you are. I'll try and bring that a little bit closer. Is that better? So, okay, let's just do another 4 or 5, and we'll get up to 10 o'clock. And if you've got any questions, certainly fire them through. Dead on analysis, Tim says, Jeff Whittier. Thank you very much. I was hoping I was... Oh, close to 700 watching. That is a lot of people. And hello to all the newbies out there who are joining us for the first time. Did I mention buy me a coffee? Link in the description. What does the Thai King say? Well, the Thai King really hasn't said anything, and it's not his place to do so. I believe he's provided some funding to some of the evacuation centres. He may indeed visit them along with Her Majesty the Queen, but it's not really his place to say anything at the moment. Both Thailand and Cambodia, more Thailand than Cambodia, are in theory constitutional monarchies. Thailand operates more like that than does Cambodia. Good morning, Tim from Suratani, says Philip. Captain Sauerkraut. Morning, Tim. You are providing an invaluable service. Thank you very much. I'm doing my best. I said, because I sort of do the news every day, and because I scour the news and I read it, and I read fairly widely about Thailand and Thai politics, and also regional politics, I'm fairly well placed to at least have an opinion, even though there'll be plenty of people that will disagree with me. Mark French, a shared heritage zone around disputed temple complexes like Prasat Thammuan, multiple temples on both sides of the border would get rid of an excuse for a dispute. Shared heritage zone. I really like that, Mark. That sounds like an excellent term. An SHZ. An SHZ. There you go. But yeah, I think they need to have some agreement in place that we don't know where the border is exactly, so let's share these resources, let's commemorate them, protect them, and let's both enjoy the fruits of tourists visiting them and enjoying them from both sides. Buffalo Gaming. Really? Hun's family also have a hand on illegal business in Cambodia, scammers, human trafficking, which Thai officials have been trying to dismantle. That's exactly what I said. The illegal casinos are one thing in Cambodia, and they've already got their hands in those pockets, but they're making a lot more money from these illegal scam centres. Billions and billions of US dollars every year they're making from these scam centres. You wouldn't believe how much money they actually make, but it's an astonishing amount. And they still estimate some 400,000 or 500,000 people who are either working voluntarily in these scam centres or are trapped inside working involuntarily and basically in slave conditions, being tortured to scam people. Where are those people from? They're from China. They're from all sorts of countries, not just China. Because the Chinese, they can only get X amount of money out of fellow Chinese. They've got English-speaking people there from the US, from Australia, from other English-speaking countries, India, Nigeria. And those people obviously working involuntarily because they need English-speaking people to scam other English people. And they're also, of course, starting to use AI much more effectively, such that the scams are being automated. And so it's not just one person calling up a person and slowly developing a relationship over weeks and months. It's millions of these scams happening at the one time, and then portraying themselves as a pretty girl on the other side of the phone who wants to develop some long-term relationship with you, and wow, she looks stunning. she's not real. Or she's probably a guy with a beard. Okay, so Paul C, using the very unscientific barometer that is Pattaya, Indian tourists were far away the majority during my visit last week. Okay, so I think that's an interesting comment, that there are always bumps in various nationalities coming to Thailand, going to particular areas. At the moment, a lot of people like to point to Phuket as, taken over by the Russians, and Pattaya, it's all Indians using 3 straws and all the other tropes that they drag out. But it's much more nuanced than that. But at the moment, there is a peak of Indian tourists visiting Pattaya and Russian tourists both settling in and visiting Phuket. I hope the increase in the wind is not causing too much problems with the microphone. You can see behind me the hurricane is approaching. How's it, Tim from Phetchabun? Thanks for the broadcast, very informative, keep it going. Not going to be able to really discern the impact on tourism in short run because it's low season and because China's to Thailand are down 33%. Thank you, Bijan Bain. Yeah, I mean, the tourist numbers go down this time of the year in Thailand anyway, so he's right. That, I know my 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My 6 beach houses, why did I even have to think about it? They're almost fully booked for December, January, February next year already. If you want to come at the moment, plenty of availability. I'll give you a good deal. There's a link in the description of this video for Beach House Thailand as well. Good morning to you, Tim, from Banglamong. I hope you and Steve Ross are doing fine. Steve is doing fine as far as I know. He's been busy building turtles. There's a market starting out here. I think it starts tomorrow night. And Steve was invited to prepare turtles, his magnificent cigarette lighter turtles. And I'm sure we'll talk more about those tomorrow. I must take some photos of them because I'd be very proud to display them on our Grumpy Old Men program, which as far as I know, will be on tomorrow. Dildo Baggins. The top 5 foreign markets with the highest numbers of tourists arriving in Thailand from January the 1st to June the 8th are Malaysia and then China. And then India, Russia and South Korea. Yeah, China was number 1, but it used to be 5 million Chinese. Now it's down to 2 million Chinese. So, yeah, that's been the really big effect on Thailand's tourism. And Daisy is digging a hole in the driveway because. Okay, thank you, Dildo Baggins. Seems like both sides edging towards direct talks, says Aussie Rules. Yeah, look, at some stage, I'm pretty sure in the next couple of days, there will be some talks between, I don't think it'll be the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister. It'll be indirect talks between their foreign ministers or other people. But let's see what goes on. Thai baht is still strong, says Russell Jack. Ah, yes, the good old Teflon Thai baht. Aussie Rule says, comparing Phnom Penh Post and Khmer Times versus Bangkok Post and The Nation coverage gives good sense how each side views the conflict. I think we've been doing a bit of that. I've had a lot of trouble getting the Phnom Penh Post, which I visited last time I was in Phnom Penh, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, speaking to the editor. It was a very interesting visit. But then both Phnom Penh Post and the Khmer Times are owned by Malaysian companies now. There is a lot of government interference, let's say, in the editorial in those particular publications. But yeah, if you look at the way that they're covering the stories, quite different from the way it's been covered in Thailand. And I have been trying to give some coverage from both sides of the border and then letting you decide what you believe the truth to be. Make boom boom, not war, says Jeff Whitty Art. I read an estimate that phenotypically Isan Thai are 50% Khmer genetics. It's interesting over the last couple of months when this dispute has been discussed, a lot of people digging into the history of the Khmer Empire, digging into the time when Thailand was Thailand, or Siam, and Cambodia was basically a French colony. And then, coming up through the 20th century and some of the history of the border areas, really, that's all very interesting, but it doesn't really explain what's going on at the moment. And I think a lot of people are sort of using history lessons as a distraction to a proper understanding of exactly what's going on between Thailand and Cambodia at the moment. As I said, I believe it is 100% politics and economics, and a battle between the Hun family and the Shinawats. Good morning to the staff. We've got people arriving next door, so we're just getting everything ready. Tim's from Melbourne area, says Damien Jesser. He was. That seems like a lifetime. Oh, here we go. Collide Rule. What part of Australia are you from? I was born about 1 hour south of Melbourne in Australia. And in a place called Mornington on the Mornington Peninsula, a very pretty part of the world, by a complete accident of birth. I do believe it was an accident. I was very lucky to be born in one of the prettiest parts of the world. And I had a very happy upbringing, which included 7 years in boarding school, which weren't so happy, but they were interesting and shaped the man that I am. Innocent human beings are being hurt. Hopefully peaceful resolution soon, says Jay Easy. Agreed. Glenn says, thanks for the update. Many parts to this issue, some open and some, as you outlined, tucked deep into Thai and Khmer politics. Let's hope all this is sorted out soon. Fun size media, tourism, scam centres, casinos. Cambodia doesn't want competition. All right, let's do a few more as we get down here. Fortunately, no Khmer riot attacks on Thai businesses in Phnom Penh, like in 2003. I just wanted to mention very quickly, it was brought to my attention yesterday that there are some Thai, I suppose you'd have to call them vigilantes, who have been going to some of these small Cambodian business people. A lot of Cambodians doing business here in Thailand, estimated some 2 to 3 million Cambodians on Thai soil, principally in places like Bangkok, doing their stuff and trading and selling food or whatever. And there have been some attacks on these people by some Thai vigilantes who have taken the situation far, far, far too far. And I would condemn any of that sort of violence. These are just innocent people, as are the people along the borders. So anytime I see any of that sort of Thai vigilante activity, I'll report it and hope the police come down on them like a ton of bricks. And they have so far been taking action against these Thai vigilantes. Thailand, Timmy. Thailand has a large gold reserve, hence a strong baht. That's part of it for sure. Xiaomi 9A. Coming from Ireland, this all sounds slightly familiar. Different history though. I get what you're saying. But yeah, very different history. And I don't believe that the borders or the old and ancient and fascinating ancient history of these two countries and how they came to be what they are now, and the problems with this border area, which all goes down to a map prepared by the French, the former colonists in Cambodia. And yeah, it was a mistake. No, not necessarily a mistake, but it was that map that's been causing all the problems. But I don't believe that really. That's just an excuse. That's a distraction on what's really going here, what's really going on. Okay, let's see. We've got a few more down here. My Thai partner has an interesting theory. It's more than a little land. This is from Jorgen D. Thank you very much. ASEAN Insight 360. That sounds important. The news looks silent about Thailand at 5:02 a.m. on July 26. The news looks silent about the firing of heavy artillery shells in Pursat province. We mentioned that this morning. As far as I know, that was at the front of the program. So if you want to wind back to the head of the program, I did talk about that. Specifically. So there you go. And a few more. It seems that French always seem to mess things up. Again, I think digging into history and sort of nationalistic tropes is not really going to help here. Okay, Robert Larkin flew back to Melbourne on Thursday from 29 degrees to 4 degrees. Bugger that, that's why I'm here. And arrived same time as 400 Chinese tourists. Chaos at the baggage carousels. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. No matter where you fly into, if there's been 3 other wide-body aeroplanes arriving just before you, you're just going to be in for a long wait at immigration. The last 3 times I've arrived back at the Phuket International Airport from Penang, all 3 times, which is only a 45-minute flight, but all 3 times I've just walked straight up to the immigration counter. Been very, very lucky indeed. I don't like queues. Who does? Okay, so let's see. Hello from Bangkok, says Franco7. Mr. Pink, you want to be a rock superstar? Well, no. Okay, I think we've done that. I think we've sort of covered most of them. I don't want to miss anything out. Both leaders should just roll a blunt and have a smoke together, says Rahim Majid. I bet by the time they order food delivery, they'll forget what they're fighting about. Just to be clear, it's a joke. I get it, but it's still quite funny. Okay, there you go. Hopefully that was sort of interesting to some people. My thesis being that this conflict that we're seeing at the moment is a sideshow to something that's much deeper. And that basically is the Hun family and the elite families in Cambodia protecting their interests in casinos and specifically the scam centres, which are well funded, make billions of dollars for those families. And since the Thai government's been involved in closing a lot of them down along the Thai-Burmese border, a lot of the operations have moved into Cambodia, where it appears they're being made very, very welcome and protected by some of the Cambodian families. I'll make sure I've got a lock on my gate tonight because I think a lot of what I've said today will not be popular to Cambodian people, and I'm sorry if you feel offended by what I've said, but I can only say the way I see things. I have nothing against Cambodian people. 3 times I've visited Cambodia. I've had a great time there, and I've found a lot of similarities between Cambodian and Thai culture. In some ways, I prefer the food in Cambodia. It doesn't seem to be quite as spicy. And I also acknowledge the checkered history the Cambodian and the Kampuchean people have had. And a lot of the reasons I visited Phnom Penh was to visit the killing fields, that school that had been converted. Can't remember the name of it. I've got a book signed by the author who actually was taken to the location. Sorry, I can't remember the name. But I visited 3 locations there that were involved in that time that has been called the killing fields, the Asian Holocaust. It was a horrible time in Cambodian history. Now, something we might talk a bit more about on Grumpy Old Men tomorrow. We don't really want to get into politics, but I think Cambodia has got a fascinating history, and let's hope very soon the conflict dies down so people can get back to visiting the beautiful temples there on the border and into Cambodia, and the Thai people can get back to visiting Cambodia and enjoying the country as they do, and also that of course Cambodians and all of us can get across those border areas safely. Have a great Saturday. I will be back with Grumpy Old Men tomorrow. We record it usually about 8 in the morning. By the time I get it up online, it's going to be 10 or 11 o'clock. And I look forward to that chat with Steve. Come and say hello. Daisy, come and say hello. Come on. Come here. Come on. You haven't done anything wrong. Hello, everybody. Hello, I'm Daisy. Yes, Daisy doesn't care. Have a great Saturday, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.